Ciao my lovelies, it's me the D, and today I'm planning on doing something a little different. I have DNF'd a book. So I've decided I'm gonna try and do something I'm gonna call the DNF Diaries. In the DNF Diaries, I plan on doing makeup that is relevant to how I felt about the book, as well as incorporating, talking about the book, because I would never fully review these things since I didn't finish them, but I can talk mess while doing something kind of fun. Best of both worlds is what I was aiming for. So last year for my birthday, I did a clown makeup look and it was so fun. And I think there's so much variety that you can do with that I decided, at least for today, that I'm gonna do my makeup in the general clown format and then, maybe switch it up every time I'm talking about a book. First, we're going to be starting out with our white bases as well as some white powder to set it. Mainly because these are the products I used last time and I have so much of it, I might as well. I went into this book with a blank slate, and so that's how we are going to start this as well. I had no idea on what we were talking about. I assumed it was like a scary house situation, and I never even got there. And I got to 55% of the book, mind you. Jump scare, I know. We'll make it better, don't worry. But so basically I went in with a blank slate, and obviously the first thoughts of the book was, one, I was wrong. I realized that the main character, the female main character, she was actually disabled. I think I said that their daughter had actually died. She didn't die, which is great. She didn't die, but she is permanently disabled and she is trying to start like a new start in their lives, because after her daughter was born and she had postpartum like depression and she's dealing with this new physical ailment, she's having a hard go of it. Her husband is trying his best to like be really helpful with her and the baby, and again, they are going to be trying to get a new apartment in New York in this supersonic like fancy hotel. And it's a hotel celebrities always stay at, and it's just renowned. So they win a lottery to actually live in this place. They're very excited. She's in the wheelchair. She's kind of nervous about it, but she ultimately decides like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's live life. They get there, and even with the presentation of them like going through the house to look through it, their realtor is like, oh yeah, this is great. But she's like, kind of just too friendly. And so it's kind of sketch that she's like so excited for them, I guess. Some really poor people in a very highly known hotel situation. They end up saying, we'll take it. And the first instance of something creepy going on was after, the realtor gets the yes, okay, and they leave, she's holding a cockroach, okay, and she fucking eats it. And I'm like, okay, that intrigued me, right? That intrigued me. So obviously the next vibe of the book from that little bit was kind of creepy and like something unsettling is gonna come happen. I think it was a really good start to this book. So obviously I was intrigued. This is probably not even 10% of the book. I'm into it. So I think we're going to do a gray contour and maybe brown eyebrows, or maybe a mix of the two. We'll see, but I just want to say, like, this is where the book was still pretty cool to me. My love, once again, scary as hell. But I just want to say, for the next thing I'm gonna do, I think we're gonna do eyes, because I know that makes or breaks a look. Since this book is a bit more creepy, I'm thinking I'm gonna do something a little less glamorous, but still kind of cutesy, just a little bit. After that point in the book still was holding my attention. The main characters are going through what brought them to this point of trying to get this new place. Again, they just had their baby about a year ago, and the disablement that she had and the resentment for him being able to be completely fine was a valid thing in the book. We find out that their old landlord is like a bigot and a racist and all these things. So they just really want to get out of the situation they're at, start anew. And so the husband, he was just kind of like trying to keep the family together vibe, where he wasn't happy with what was going on in his life with his wife, but at the same time, he also hated his job. And he was someone who really wanted to be a family man. So he's just whatever to make his wife happy, make sure their daughter's taken care of. So with them moving to this new place, it felt like it was the perfect thing for them. What started to bother me is that this place is so famous, but there's no information. Obviously, that makes sense. That's why it's probably going to be a creepy book. How is this place so famous for 100 or 200 years and there's no information on the people who live there or what they do or whatever? We get to be in the mindset of the husband for a while, and we're supposed to be trying to gain sympathy with him. Again, the whole situation is quite sad, but it's one of those things where it feels like the husband is just like, he wishes he was someone else. He doesn't care for his life, basically. And that was kind of trash. So I just was not intrigued by that aspect. But what did intrigue me was that the wife, the mother, was supposed to be doing physical therapy. There's a chance she could get her feeling back in her legs and she could walk again if she was to take physical therapy, but she's really hemming and hawing about it. As well as she hasn't been working since they got to their new place. So she just kind of stuck in the rut of like heavy mindset. She cannot get herself to push herself towards anything better, and she has a bit of resentment towards her daughter as well. It's just a little baby, but her baby is what just changed her whole life. So she just was having a hard time with that. And so she's just stuck in the house in her wheelchair taking care of their daughter. And then every once in a blue moon at night, she'd be like, something's wrong here. Something is wrong in this place. And I always forget it the next morning. Not sure what that's about, but you know, that was quite an intriguing place to keep me. I thought, oh, we're about to find out it's a haunted house, a place where something creepy is going on, especially since the realtor just ate that bug, right? The next color we're gonna do is probably some kind of a green, gray, blue. Honestly, since it is still kind of glam to me for today, I'm probably gonna put some kind of glitter in there as well. So we're gonna work on our eyes and hopefully that'll come out and then we can get to the next part of the book. We're about the 30% mark of the book, and I will say this is when I started to lose some interest. In this part of the book, it is the wife who is at home, and one day she ends up hearing her neighbor through the wall and goes and tries to see if she needs help. That neighbor runs out of the room and immediately is like, I'm free. And she's like, I'm free. And she tries to run and get like down the stairs, and then she's like, I'm gonna jump. And then our main character is like, no, let me tell you my woes. I too am a mother. And so she's telling her sad story again, which it is a sad story, but she's telling it again. And the lady is like, solidarity, thanks for telling me your story. I still want to jump. And the elevator guy, it's one of those fancy hotels where there's always a guy in the elevator, literally is like, hey girl, get back to your room. And she's just like, I should have jumped. And the lady is saying like, the only reason we're here is for our babies. And so the main girl's like, oh God, what the hell is she talking about? The main character's husband actually had just gotten fired from his job and he low-key hates his family. So what's he do? He wants to be at the house all the time. He ends up running into this like older lady who's supposedly a celebrity in the building. He's in awe of her. And so this lady offers him a job and he's like, hell yeah. So he takes this job from this lady he barely knows, mind you, is away from the house quite a bit. Between her job and not even telling his wife he got fired and just leaving the apartment knowing she needs help, I was like losing interest from that because again, he's just like not even wanting to be there. The main female character doesn't even tell him about the creepy stuff. She told him later about the next door neighbor, but like he doesn't even care. And so I'm just like, yo, this isn't, you guys aren't even like near the same page. That could be almost two different people. That's not even a relationship. The only thing holding them together is the baby, and that baby is cooling. I just don't understand. So those are the like things that were starting to make me kind of side-eye the book because we're not even talking about anything scary for real. And then, I don't know, he just irked me from that point. As well as the gargoyles, right? She never even told her husband anything about that. So she's just there. And she's not helping herself with her physical therapy. She's not helping herself with her job. And she low-key starting to hate her baby. So it's just like, you guys just, yeah, I don't know. This book was giving me something. So anyway, I'm going to be working on my, I think, eyebrows and maybe doing some eyeliner to show like how I'm feeling, which is basically this. But we'll intensify the eyebrows for that. And the last thing about this book that actually made me decide I'm over it. I'm done. I don't want to read this anymore. Like, this was finally a part that was interesting. It was something that, oh my God, like I care. I care what happens. This is creepy. She gets lost in the backwoods of this housing place, this hotel, this housing thing, whatever. She ends up getting lost back there. She ends up falling out of her chair, and she has her baby on her chest, and it is a moment of pure terror because she doesn't know how, she can't walk. She can't get herself out of the chair. And then the ground opens up filled with spiders. She's trying not to freak out. Her baby, where she took her off to try and get herself up, she's getting covered in spiders. Her baby is not where she thought she was. And so it's like, oh God, where's the baby? The baby is being taken. I was so upset. I was so scared. I was anxious. I cared, okay? I cared. She ends up getting out of that situation just fine, which is great. I mean, you know, but her physical therapist, she hears the voice of her physical therapist, and she has this feeling like the area is telling her like lay down and just die. I think that was great. I was like, okay, yeah, this is scary as fuck. This hotel's got something going on. In the meantime, while this is happening, her husband is kikiing with the new employer of his in this hotel room where they're just like drinking and eating, question mark. They're eating something weird. He tries it. They all laugh at him. He doesn't get why. Okay, that's cool. You know, whatever. And then he knows he's supposed to be upstairs with his wife and his child, and he decides to go downstairs and help or whatever. Once again, I was quite annoyed at him. He is literally like, he doesn't give a fuck about them, which again, okay, whatever, cool. He ends up leaving the hotel room with the lady and the party after feeling like a goddamn king. They went to another celebrity's room, and he gets to play all these instruments. That's his passion, that's his hobby, that's his thing. He's having the time of his life. He fully forgets he has a family for like a while until someone mentions it, and he's like, oh yeah, I do have a family. He ends up leaving to do a favor for his employer and runs into his wife and child looking disheveled as hell. And he literally just goes, I wish I didn't marry you. That was it for me. That was it for me. Because the one time something creepy, scary, you're not too worried about your girl or whatever, mind you, this barely got into the creepiness by 55%. I think the book is about vampires. That's what the energy was between the eating weird stuff and his employer bringing home these drunk men who basically stand up whenever someone's like, oh, we need to go and get something to eat. Like, it seemed like it was going to be vampires, but the fact that nothing happened to tell me for sure it was vampires or whatever was killing, whatever. It killed her therapist, whatever's down in there, but we never hear anything. That was one thing, a crying baby, her therapist goes missing, they're eating something weird, and then men stand up when people say we have to eat. I despise this, because what do you mean? This is 55% and you can't tell me what's going on yet? Nothing's going on is what I heard until like right now, and I don't care, because clearly no matter what happens in this book, that husband doesn't give a fuck. So I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it because she's woe is me over here, and he just don't give a fuck anyway. So no, I'm not finishing that book. So we're gonna finish off with some lipstick and some lashes. I think we're gonna aim for probably either gray and red. I'm gonna try, I've never done this, I'm gonna try and make a frowny face lipstick liner because this book pissed me off. So yeah, we'll probably do a real quick recap, but honestly, the DNF Diaries will probably have me looking like a clown, so I might as well do my makeup that way. The book we've been talking about was Nestling by Nat Cassidy. I cannot believe this. This is the second time I have DNF'd a book by Nat Cassidy. Every time I hear something, Nat Cassidy, it's supposed to be the best, creepiest thing anyone's ever read, and so I keep trying. I have one more book by Nat Cassidy I am willing to try and read. And it's When the Wolf Comes Home. I think it's the newest one. I may get the name wrong. I don't really know. It sounds cool. All of his books sound so cool to me. But every time I start one, it does not hit. I've gotten 50% through Mary, and I've gotten 50% through the Nestlings. And each time, nothing is happening. So I am almost positive this will be the last time I try to read Nat Cassidy, the next book. I have bought the first two and been disappointed both times, so I'm only going to be getting the third book through my library. I do not like his style. There's nothing going on every time. By 50% mark, you should be able to know what's going to be happening for the rest of the book. I feel like most of the endings, which mind you, I did look up the ending for the Nestlings, and it's not even worth me continuing. Truly. That's the reason I didn't actually finish it. I read a few reviews. I even went on Reddit to see what other people are saying. And so I don't feel the need to finish. I didn't even look up the ending for the Mary book. I just accepted that that was not it. You understood the concept and you could figure out what was probably going to happen at the end, just like with this book. And even then, I can't say my opinions on how the ending is since I didn't actually finish it, but it's a lame ending to me personally. Like, really? That's how we're gonna end it? So this next one, I'm only gonna be getting it through the library for free, and if I even get to 40% and I don't like it, I don't know if I'll do another DNF diary, but I think I'll just have to give him a straight do not buy, because obviously the styling of his writing is not working for me. And it's not to say that the scenes aren't gruesome or gross when he presents them in the book. I feel like I'm just watching someone's life, and it's the most boring life I've ever heard of. So yeah, I think we can safely say I did not enjoy my time reading this. And I feel like this is a more fair version of me like reading a book, because if I gave it a 1 or 2 stars, one, that's a waste of my time. And I obviously am not the person who should be reading this book. I cannot even get through it. Why would I continue and then hate read it? You know, I'd rather stop while I was ahead. Again, the last straw was definitely the husband. And honestly, as soon as I saw, oh, you don't actually give a fuck at all, I don't need to read this. You don't care what your wife says or does or anything if they go, like, whatever. So I am glad we had this chat. I am glad we have a full spectrum of the thoughts I have. Again, I feel like it had a bright beginning and the intrigue was in there because of the way that the wife was feeling and how I thought the husband was going to be helping, or, you know, at least that we would all of the characters would know what was going on in the hotel at the same time, not holding back. Like usually if you see hold on, I have to calm myself down. In a story like this, where it's set up to sound like it's a new beginning and the husband and wife are like not gonna be like, they're trying, the family is trying. So when I see a new beginning with the husband and wife and a baby and they're trying, right? They're trying, no one is trying in this book. And so I don't care that she's having a hard time. He's low-key having a hard time, but he also doesn't give a fuck. Like, I just don't see why I should care if neither of them care about their lives. That's how I feel about the book. I hope the makeup was at least an entertaining way to do this. If not, I mean, I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing this because I have so much makeup, I might as well play with it, because I quite enjoy doing fun makeup. Like, I feel like this is pretty fun, even though it's not, I'll say, my best look. It's definitely something I'm kind of proud of. So if I DNF books, I think this will be a great addition, because I don't want to spoil these books in case people do want to read them. So I guess it's just a way for me to rant and rave, but also have fun with it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.